Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Lewis and Clark Community College for the 2021 Central District title game for the NJCAA Division I Women's Soccer. This afternoon's game will feature two region champions representing Region 11 from Council Bluffs, Iowa, the Iowa Western Community College Reavers. And representing Region 24, the Lewis and Clark Community College Trailblazers. Before we meet the starting lineups, would you please rise for our national anthem? Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, see, does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the bereaved.
30
Let's
seconds.
meet the starting lineups.
The starting lineup I had to
First for Iowa Western.
I think it's 5.
The goalkeeper, number 00, Sydney Marlowe. A defender, number 2, Jessica Slater. Forward midfielder, number 3, Yoshiki Kidadai.
Welcome
On
back
defense,
to
number
Tim
4,
Brady Stadium. As we're
Barbara
going through the
Russo.
starting lineups, we just had a nice rendition of the national anthem by our
Midfielder,
very own
number
Jared
5,
Hennings. And
Mayu
so now we're getting
Inukawa.
ready. All of, to kick this game off on this district championship.
Midfielder, number 6,
Quality teams.
Anna
I'm
Hall.
excited.
This is the day-to-day
Forward, number 9, Paula Boza.
And to have two great teams like Iowa Western and
Midfielder,
Lewis
number
and Clark
11,
being led by Tim
Marie
Rooney.
Quintel.
Can't ask for a better soccer game.
You know, we'd be amiss if we didn't talk about Tim
Number
Rooney a little
13,
bit, which is
Addison
likely
Mosier.
his last game here at Tim Rooney Stadium, because he's made mention that he's
Forward,
retiring
number
again,
19,
and we thought it
Rurika
might be his last game, a little bit ago, a few weeks ago, with the last home game, but they made it through. They made it through the regionals, and they won the region. And they get the chance to take on this very talented Iowa Western team.
You know, to be able to play for Tim Rooney for the time that I did, he's just a great leader, a great mentor, and Lewis and Clark couldn't have asked for better to lead their programs. Really couldn't.
To tell you about Lewis and Clark a little bit more, they started the season 2-2, and they really kind of took fire after that, and they got better as they went on, and that's what Coach Rooney had mentioned, is how they got better as the season went on. He mentioned, though, a couple of times to where they just couldn't finish, because that's going to be the name of the game today, is if we can finish, if we can create some turnovers with this team who, like the Iowa Western team, big in possession. They want to possess the ball. So it's going to be key to try to get some steals and then finish.
Yeah.
Some of the games this year, they've had 20 shots on goal compared to like 6, and would lose a game because they didn't finish. So he says they'd have to capitalize on those situations. Because if we can compete with this very tough Iowa Western team.
Yeah, you just hit the nail right on the head. The object of the game is to finish, and it's frustrating. We all go through slumps as soccer players. 20 shots in a game and not making one, it happens. But when they come, they come. And if the Tim Rooney squad can do it today, it'd be a great way to cement the season. To start off not scoring very much and to finish today would be great. Great highlight to the season.
Tell you about this Iowa Western team. It's the Iowa State Reavers. we've mispronounced it a couple of times. Apologies for that. But they come out of Iowa. They win their district. The only loss of the year, one lone loss, was to a very talented Indian Hills team, who they beat in the regionals to make it here. And big ball possession team. They like to keep the ball, and they have a few people on this team that can score that we might be mentioning a few times.
Yeah, absolutely. We mentioned the back line, too, getting some points for them. And, a possession team, you don't really see a lot of the back line getting points and getting assists and up the field. So watch the counterattack from them, too. But this is a great opportunity for Tim Rooney's squad, a side that likes to play possession with Iowa Western, to take advantage of that and to isolate the weak points of attack for them.
Full disclosure here, you're the soccer knowledge guy. I'm just the radio guy that's going to attempt to call soccer. So
me too.
We'll see how this goes. And if you're in the area, if you're listening and you're in the area, it's a beautiful day for soccer.
Great.
And the field looks fantastic. I think we're going to have a lot of fun today. So if you're in the area, come by. Don't listen to us. Come watch it for yourself.
Yeah, I completely agree. We're radio guys for a reason, right?
So Lewis and Clark, Trailblazers, taking on the Iowa Western Reavers in this district final, really, because there's no other district that reported. So unlike the men, unfortunately, who lost yesterday against Iowa Western,
right,
ironically enough, they would have had to play another game to win. But here, this is one and done for the districts, and whoever wins this game gets to go to Daytona Beach next weekend and play for a national title.
Yeah, it's going to be huge, and I think Daytona would be a little bit better weather pending than Godfrey, Illinois next week. What do you think?
It might be, yes. Maybe they'll send us along with if they make it there.
No one. It's true. What's up? What no one really talks about before the game is these huddles. What happens here is these captains are really rallying their team, and there's a big psychological thing to this. Whoever breaks first, in a lot of soccer players' mind, is whoever's going to lose. So you see a lot of these standoffs starting to happen more and more, where they won't break until the other team does.
We're just about to set for kickoff, and it looks like Iowa Western's going to take a possession first. Maybe, maybe not. Lewis and Clark's going to take possession first.
They tricked us.
And we're underway in this district championship game between Lewis and Clark and Iowa Western. Lewis and Clark quickly takes the ball into the offensive zone. Lost it, now back in control. Just over midfield.
Really starting off fast pace. I really like it. This is the start of a real district game right here. Really high intensity, and it's going to stay like this for a while, I think.
Okay, Lewis and Clark kicks the ball out of bounds in the Iowa Western zone. They'll have a throw in. They throw in approaching midfield. Kick the ball back to maybe set up some offense here, and all the way back to the goalkeeper.
And they are a possession team, but they got to be careful.
Oh, there's a steal. Oh, a little bit too much passing around between the goalkeeper and the defender, and they almost lost it. There was a great chance there for Lewis and Clark to potentially get a cheap goal.
Yep, this possession soccer, it gets dangerous when you play in your back line like that and move the ball around. It's chance for counterattack all the time, as we talked earlier.
Iowa Western with the ball, and now stolen away by Lewis and Clark. Lewis and Clark's had possession so far. Oh, now a kick upfield. Now in the Lewis and Clark end. Iowa Western on attack into the right corner of the field.
Nice.
And a slide tackle to take the ball away, and it's going to be corner kick.
Those are dangerous. That's a great tackle, because if you foul there, that's more dangerous than a corner kick and a potential caution. So great challenge by number 12 for Lewis and Clark, Ava Keeley.
So there'll be a corner kick for Iowa Western. Game just underway here at Lewis and Clark Community College at Tim Rooney Field. Not even quite 2 minutes in yet. Lewis and Clark's had possession quite a bit now, though Iowa Western with a corner kick. There's the kick, center in front of the zone. Popped away by the goaltender, picked up by an Iowa Western player, and cleared out by Lewis and Clark. Someone goes down, but no call. Iowa Western back in control, kick over to the right side of the box. Centering pass into the front of the goal. There's a kick on goal, and just off to the left side. Not a real strong chance of goal, but first real scary test for Lewis Clark.
It is. Corner kicks in any type of a soccer matchup, especially a district or a knockout round game, are dangerous. You get these clunky goals, the ball bounces everywhere like we just saw, and And that could have been dangerous for Lewis and Clark.
So there's a goal kick out to about midfield. It's headed. It's on the far side of the field. So when I say the far side of the field, this field is laid out from north or south to north, north to south, and we're looking to the west is the way that we're looking. So Lewis and Clark would be heading towards the south at this moment.
I don't have my compass.
The ball right now, though, is in Iowa Western's half of the field, and the ball is just kicked out, and it'll be a throw-in for Lewis and Clark.
A lot of high-press defense going on for Lewis and Clark, and we'll see if their stamina can hold.
A pass up to Grace Olsvoth, led, and there's a shot going off the head of an Iowa Western defender. Oh, she didn't go down. That was a straight shot right to the head.
That was a bullet. And corner kick for Lewis and Clark. This could be dangerous.
Skylar Hollingshead for Lewis and Clark will be taking this corner kick, or be Lewis and Clark with an opportunity here. Once again, 0-0. We're just in the 3rd minute of this game. Here's a pass to the middle of the field, and it's headed away by an Iowa Western defender. Hollingshead will pick up the ball. She'll center it again, all the way over to the other side of the field, being chased down by Chrissy Mitchell. And the ball goes out of bounds.
Yep, it's those deflections. You got to watch out for those, because the second ball in can be more dangerous than the initial corner kick, and we'll just see what happens. I think this might be a game decided on set pieces, honestly.
Goal kick for Iowa Western as they try to move the ball up a little bit. Once again, passing it back and forth among the defenders. Maybe waiting for the forwards to get in place.
A lot of high-press defense from Lewis and Clark. Their back line is up to midfield, which is telling them they're going to put pressure on Iowa as much as they can. No time on the ball.
Just as soon as Iowa Western crosses midfield, Lewis and Clark kicks it back into their end. Goaltender with the ball now for Iowa Western. There's a kick up to midfield, headed by Lewis and Clark. Ball is loose, now in the possession of Iowa Western.
Iowa Western flanking right now.
Oh, here's a pass up the right side of the field. Racing down the field is Ella Pelletier. And she's moving it in, and she's taken down by number 12, Ava Kiley.
That was a great ball from Iowa Western. They found a weak point of attack. They isolated it, and that's what happens when you get one-on-one down there in the corner. It gets dangerous, and we saw that just now.
So Iowa Western's going to have a free kick now. Once again, they're on the right side of the attack zone. They're on north end of the field, near where you would say you would take a corner kick, but in play. Here's the kick, centering it inside. Off the leg of an Iowa Western player, now kicked away by Lewis and Clark.
Lewis and Clark is getting ready to be on the counterattack. We're seeing it now unfold.
Lewis and Clark takes it upfield. That's number 10, Grace Olsvoth, and ball just kicked away.
It hit I think it hit one of the bumps because it hit right off her shin and out of bounds. An unlucky break.
Back to Iowa Western. They throw it in possession, but 3 Trailblazers around. Lewis and Clark, I'm impressed with Lewis and Clark and how they've been able to possess the ball. Oh, and there's a player for Iowa Western that goes down, number 3, Katati.
Yep, we're just seeing a lot of high pressure from Lewis and Clark. I really like how they're playing right now. They're staying very organized in their back line. No one's really getting out of shape, and we're seeing it. A lot of counterattacks are starting to happen for Lewis and Clark. A lot of balls bouncing, and it could be a good day for the Timberine squad.
Iowa Western with possession of the ball at midfield, and there's a defender that a attacker got beyond the defender, and the ball was forwarded to that person, and they save it from going out, but nope, now it's out.
And see, that's why Lewis and Clark's keeping their back line up, because they can handle. Tim Marine's feeling confident about his back line speed, and we're seeing that now. And, ball out of bounds for them is a goal kick for us, and I think that's Tim Marine's motto right now in the first half.
If you're just tuning in, no score in this district championship. Lewis and Clark has seemed to have possession for much of this game so far, but Iowa Western did have a few breakaways that took him down to the Lewis and Clark end, but Lewis and Clark with possession now in the attacking end on the far side of the field. Little skirmish going on between Lewis and Clark's number 19, Christy Mitchell, and an Iowa State player.
Christy's been very aggressive today, trying to get that ball in the box, and that's what you need out of your forwards. And that's what you need out of the team in general. We're seeing a lot of fire from Tim Rooney's side today.
As you can hear, a nice little breeze just kicked up, which on a warmer day would be a nice little breeze.
You don't see that very often in college soccer. That is a foul throw-in.
Explain that to me.
So the Iowa Western player threw the ball in and lifted her foot up at the same time, and you can't do that. That's why Lewis and Clark just got a throw-in out of it. Those are mistakes you can't make in a district final.
So we're still in Iowa State's into the field side of the field. They have possession now. They take it across midfield. Centering pass up forward to number 24, Pelletier. And there's been a lot of passes to her.
There have been.
Lewis and Clark takes it away now. Oh, Iowa State steals back again. There's a centering pass up at the middle of the field. Iowa Western. Oh, there's a chance for a shot on goal for number 19, Kiramura, if I pronounced that correctly. But she just didn't quite get enough foot on it. Seems like she just kind of, I don't know if this is official soccer term, but kind of whiffed a little bit.
No, I use that as an official soccer term, and that's what happens with these high press back lines. Sometimes you see that 24 has gotten away a couple of times and been able to get some dangerous play out of there for Iowa Western. So that's something Tim Rooney's squad is going to have to look at halftime, I think.
The ball in Iowa Western's in, as it has been for much of this game so far, as they now start to take it across midfield. I would say Iowa Western's been in their end a lot, but not as organized for LC as when Iowa Western's on the attack. It seems to be more of an organized attack.
Yep, absolutely right. Iowa Western's more of a, like we talked about earlier, possession soccer, and Lewis and Clark's high press. So you're going to get a lot of balls bouncing in Iowa's end this game, and a lot of more free-flowing soccer coming out of Iowa going towards Lewis and Clark's goal.
This will be a throw-in for Iowa Western on the far side of the field. They take possession as they move it up the left side of the field, moving towards the center. Nobody defending. There's a kick and a shot and a save.
What a save by number 1, Ali Chile. That's a great sliding save. Iowa could have easily been up 1-0 there.
So Botha, who we had talked about, she was bringing that ball in. It was not really contested. I mean, she kind of had like a free pass in, took a shot, and great save by Chile. So we will have a corner kick now for Iowa Western. That's probably the best chance we've seen so far today on anyone.
Without a doubt. And we're seeing now Iowa Western's doing this in the corner kick where they're putting a lot of pressure on our goal, on Ali Chile, and that's what a lot of people in soccer call the Missouri Valley.
Centering pass headed away by a Lewis and Clark player. Now it comes out of bounds right near us.
Just out of the reach.
Now we'll have a throw in for Iowa Western. Right at about midfield, just inside Lewis and Clark's end. Pass into Botha. Botha trying to scissor over, kicked away by Lewis and Clark, and out of bounds and out again near us. So another throw in for Iowa Western.
Yep.
So kick went off handball. So it turns over Lewis and Clark's.
It wasn't intentional, but it hit her hand and played right back down to her feet, so you got to call that one as a referee.
Carolyn Smith for Lewis and Clark will take this free kick just inside of the Lewis and Clark end. Centers it all the way till near the top of the goal box.
You know, that's a dangerous ball to deal with. She hit that with a little knuckle on it, and that it's very hard to read as a defender in a bounce.
Iowa Western takes control now, takes it over midfield, and they're on the attack. Here's a centering pass. Kicked away by Lewis and Clark. Carolyn Smith.
Great touch by Chrissy Mitchell.
Pass up to Chrissy Mitchell. Pass over to Grace Oswald, and the ball is kicked away. So Lewis and Clark in on the attack now, and they get to throw in, and Iowa Western's into the field.
Lewis and Clark hasn't taken their foot off the gas pedal at all today, and this is really fun soccer to watch.
There's a centering pass towards the goal, but kicked away by Iowa Western. Iowa Western now takes control. Right at midfield. Passing up the right side of the field. Possessed now by Allison Moser. Ball's kicked out by Lewis and Clark, and it'll be a throw-in for Iowa Western. Ella Pelletier with the throw-in. There's that scary number 9, Botha. Anytime I see number 9 with the ball, I get a little worried.
We got a player down for Iowa Western, but the referee's going to let it play. Lewis and Clark's on the break.
Ball in the attack zone. It's hard to take my eyes off the player that's down in the Iowa Western end. But Lewis and Clark on the attack, and now the ball turned over to Iowa Western.
Great tackle from number 21. That is Skylar Nichols. She's putting pressure on the back line, and that's what you need right now.
So we talked about the player that went down for Iowa. She's back up, and that is Botha, their top point scorer. Iowa Western with the ball at midfield. Pass back to a defenseman. Oh, and a steal right there by Lewis and Clark.
And a haul going to goal.
Kick into the center. There's nobody there. She led Christy Mitchell just a little bit, and that was number 6, Kayla Thies.
Growing pains here, but that was a great ball in from Kayla Thies, and if Lewis and Clark can get a couple more of those this half, Tim Rooney would be pretty happy going into halftime.
Iowa Western with the ball just across midfield now. They're on the far side of the field, rolling the left side of the field is what I would say. Now, ball kicked away by Lewis and Clark's Kara Crutchley.
It looks like we got some players warming up for Lewis and Clark. Number 7 looks like she's going to the half line for a substitution, so we'll see what changes we're seeing from Lewis and Clark halfway through the first half.
It's a throw-in by Iowa Western. Kicked away by Lewis and Clark. It'll be another throw-in for Iowa Western. We're in the Lewis and Clark end of the field. There's another ball kicked away by Lewis and Clark.
Repetition's your friend, right?
There's a pass throw now, possessed by Iowa Western. Ball centered in, kicked away by Lewis and Clark. Iowa Western's defender, a little skirmish there now. And Mitchell has the ball. Mitchell kicks it over to number 10, Osvalth. She's on the left side of the field in the attack zone, and she centers it up now to Thieves. Thieves on the left-hand side, kicked away by an Iowa Western player.
It's the high press from the strikers from Lewis and Clark, putting pressure on the back line of Iowa Western. That's great defending from your forwards. You couldn't ask for better.
There's that substitution, and number 7 is coming into the game now for Lewis and Clark, which I don't think that we have a roster with a number 7 on it. No, there we do. Lauren Kirby. Lewis and Clark throws the ball in. Ball booted in the air by Iowa Western player, now headed by Iowa Western player. Chase after the ball. Lewis and Clark controls and kicks it back to try to set something up. Just in there into the zone. Lewis and Clark still in control now, kicked off of a Iowa Western player, and they're in possession right at midfield. No score in this game. We're 15 minutes into this contest in the 16th minute.
As you can see, Lewis and Clark is putting a lot of bodies on other bodies. They're making sure they're cutting out passing lanes and making it difficult for Iowa Western as we got a throw in for Lewis and Clark.
Yeah. Kayla Thieves will take this throw in. Pass all the way up to Mitchell. Mitchell controls it. Now she turns towards the goal. Puts on a centering pass on goal. Kicked away and just off of the reach, out of the reach of a Lewis and Clark player. But she took the shot, had to be defended by their goaltender. Went just beyond the foot of a Lewis and Clark Trailblazer. That might have been Lewis and Clark's best chance so far.
It definitely was. Sydney Marlowe, great extended save there. And you like to see the forwards for Lewis and Clark crashing that goal, trying for the rebound. And that's a great sight to see, even though we didn't get Lewis and Clark didn't get a goal there. That's great pressure.
Fight for the ball now. Now it's possessed by Iowa Western. Pass across the field.
That's great zonal defensive maneuvering by Lewis and Clark. You see number 6, number 12 switching positions there so they can cover for each other on that breakaway. Great defense.
Lewis and Clark with the ball now, but we're in the Lewis and Clark end. Pass up to Thieves. Thieves goes up the left side of the field. Now the ball's going to be kicked away right into an Iowa State player, which kept the ball in play. There was a pass just a little too far for the streaking Chrissy Mitchell.
You never see very many of those balls that are just bouncing. Sometimes you get lucky on a breakaway, as we just saw with Lewis and Clark just now. You never know how you can score in soccer. That's what the beauty of it is.
Let's go back to earlier. You were talking, as I was going to ask you about, it seems that Lewis and Clark is the more physical team right now. And if you got a team who likes to possess the ball and who's as good as Iowa Western, maybe that's how you do it, right?
You got to make them uncomfortable somehow, and Lewis and Clark is doing a very good job of keeping Iowa Western uncomfortable on the ball. They're always having a body on somebody, and that's important, especially in playoff games, because playoff games, anything can happen. One goal could change the outcome of a season.
Iowa Western about to throw the ball in now in the Lewis and Clark end on the far side of the field. There's the throw in.
Riley Jacobson.
Kicked away. I was going to say, is this one going to be kicked away right away by a Lewis and Clark player? And it has.
Riley Jacobson just subbed in for Iowa Western. Two goals on the year, 8 points, so nothing to scoff at there from number 22.
Here's another throw in. We've had another one since we mentioned the last one. Iowa State with possession of the ball on the far side of the field. Pass over to another defender. And here coming another forward. Here's a kick away by Lewis and Clark. Controlled once again by Iowa Western at midfield. Lewis and Clark steals it away. There's a header. Iowa Western takes control again. And the ball runs to about midfield. Iowa Western has control. Centering pass, but headed by a Lewis and Clark player. And now here's a shot on goal. And it's easily handled by Ali Chile.
That's why I love watching high press soccer. You saw that ball's bouncing everywhere, bing, bing, bing. Ball's getting driven back into Lewis and Clark's box, back out into Iowa Western's half, and that's what makes it exciting. You never know with high press soccer.
Chile sends it out to beyond midfield. Lewis and Clark takes control of the ball. Chrissy Mitchell has it. She's deep and defended. There was a centering pass up for number 6, Kayla Thies, but it didn't quite make it defended by an Iowa Western player.
Lewis and Clark doing great at defending in the offensive third again.
There's Thies, has the ball on the left side of the field in attacking zone. She has a defender right on her tail. She kicks it back. Number 12 then takes a shot. Ava Keeley on to goal, and the goaltender easily controls it. That wasn't necessarily a shot on goal. It was more of a pass that just went a little too far.
We call those shot crosses in soccer. So if it goes in, it was a shot, but if it didn't, it was a cross.
It's a cross. Gotcha. All right. So Iowa Western now possesses the ball in their own end. Now just beyond midfield. That ball's going to trickle all the way to Lewis and Clark's goaltender, Ali Chile.
Lewis and Clark is not letting Iowa Western turn on them and go to goal. They're always they're putting pressure right on their backs, making it hard for them to even face up a Lewis and Clark defender.
You know, early on, it seemed that Ella Pelletier for Iowa Western, she had a couple of breaks early that you're like, okay, this is the way it's going to go. That hasn't happened in the last 10 minutes or so, and Lewis and Clark seems to be defending what you just talked about.
Yeah, absolutely. The midfield of Lewis and Clark really tightened down that distribution channel is what you call it, to get 24 of those outlet balls. But they shut it down, and we haven't really seen much from Iowa Western since.
There was a throw-in that was knocked out by Lewis and Clark. Osvath.
Mitchell putting pressure, and you got to love that from your forwards. To see them defending, working hard to keep the ball, that's got to be a great sight for Tim Rooney right now.
So we're basically at the corner of the field on the far side. Iowa Western throws in beyond an Iowa Western player. Lewis and Clark kicks it towards the goal.
Offsides for Lewis and Clark, right there on the referee, right on the play, just a hair offside it looked like.
Yeah, I wanted to call offsides, but I thought I couldn't, from our vantage point, I couldn't really see that that's what it was.
A little bit of an angle where we're at.
Oh, there's right. The goaltender to come out with trying to kick the ball, and it got stolen away by Mitchell. Oh, God, the wrong bounce there. You think, man, there's an opportunity because it was beyond her. If there had been someone there to stick it in.
Mitchell has been just a bee in the bonnet for Iowa Western's back line. Twice now she's stolen it off a defender's foot right in front of the goal, and you can't give her very much more opportunity like that.
Some nice footwork there by Kayla Thies to get it away, but then it was defended, and she blocked the ball out, and now Iowa Western throws it in, has the ball. Once again, ball kicked off Thies.
You're seeing. I was skeptical at first to see how the high press defense would work for Timberlake side with the stamina, but they're still looking very much in shape. They're not looking tired, and it's working pretty well for Lewis and Clark right now. As we got a ball from number 22 in the corner,
and there's a centering pass handled by Chile. So as the ball was passed up here, I'm watching the footwork of that Paula Botha, and a nice little pass she made to herself, and that was pretty impressive.
Botha is the player to watch right now for Iowa Western. She's the playmaker, and we saw that early on with the cross that she just took into goal and made her own opportunity out of.
Thieves had a chance there to save it from going out, and you could just tell she looks a little gassed because that was a play she started to have, but after it went off of one foot, it was like, okay, this is going out. I'm not going to get there.
That's the one bad side effect of pressing the ball like Lewis and Clark is. You're going to see a lot of people getting worn out here as the half wears on.
Here's a throw in by Iowa Western. It's controlled by Lewis and Clark. They have possession. There's Mitchell. Mitchell turns to go towards the goal. 2 defenders on her.
What?
She takes a shot. How did she get through all of that to begin with? She takes a shot, but it's wide. That's impressive. 2 defenders on her, and she was able to get through it and take a shot.
Mitchell is putting a performance on of the season. I mean, we had a player sliding in at her, another player giving her a different tackle, and to still get a shot off and win the corner for Lewis and Clark. Great stuff from the forward.
So we're going to have a corner kick. Lewis and Clark, no score, halfway through the first. And there's a ball that goes behind the goal. That just happens, right? You're trying to maybe put some English on it, and you don't quite hit it like you want to.
Done that a couple of times. It's definitely not what you want here in an elimination game, because corners will cost you, and it happens to us all.
Iowa Western with control now in their own end. Ball passed up to about midfield. Lewis and Clark will take it from here. Send it back over the midline. Thieves that have made a little backward pass to herself, didn't realize there was a defender there. Now Iowa Western has the ball. They take it across midfield, pass down the right side. Iowa Western chasing, they have control now. Looking to find a way to center it. Ball kicked away by Lewis and Clark. And it was kicked over the end line, so it's going to be a corner kick.
Yeah, it looked like number 7 there, Nydia Clark. She tried to get something past the Lewis and Clark defender there. Just wasn't enough players in the box for her, it looked like.
Third or fourth corner kick for. Here's a shot on goal over the goal by Iowa Western. So Lewis and Clark will take control. 20 minutes left in the first half and no score. What's your summary so far for both teams? What are you seeing that has been the tale of this game so far?
The tale of the game right now is the defensive prowess and the offensive third for Lewis and Clark. I mean, when your forwards are putting pressure on the defense of Iowa Western like they're doing, you're in great shape as we get another throw-in for Iowa Western.
Lewis and Clark control the ball, took it upfield, but kicked it beyond midfield, then out. Iowa Western with the ball now. Pass up to midfield. Lewis and Clark heads it in. These in control.
What I like, too, is there's not been a lot of fouls, just a lot of aggressive play, a lot of physical play, but nothing where it's been of concern to the referee and letting the girls play. And it's really turned out to be a great game because of it.
There's a pass over to their goaltender, and she takes it to her foot again and starts dribbling. And then there was Mitchell again. I'm thinking, if I'm her, Mitchell's taken it away from me twice. I'm thinking I'm picking that ball up.
Or putting it in the parking lot,
Yeah.
Just get it away from Mitchell right now.
Action takes us all the way to the other end of the field, where Iowa Western's going to have possession with the throw-in.
Hannah Estrada coming into the game for Iowa Western, number 10.
There's the throw-in, controlled by Iowa Western. Lewis and Clark defender on it, trying to get the ball away. Now kicked out by number 9, Paige Bauer. Iowa Western on the far side of the field with the ball now, trying to find a way to center it in. There's a centering pass, kicked away by Lewis and Clark. I'm not keeping stats of how many throw-ins are, but it's got to be like 12-2 or something.
It's a lot. Whenever you have the way that we're defending here at Lewis and Clark right now, you're going to get a lot of those balls that are going out of bounds. But honestly, Iowa Western really hasn't been able to do much with them. So it's not, to me, if I'm Tim Rooney, not a concern.
Oh, yeah. I'm not saying it as a concerning thing.
No.
It's like, man,
Yes.
they've been tenacious with kicking the ball away.
I'm ready for the flip throw.
Iowa Western with the ball. In Lewis and Clark's end now, they send it back into their half to set up an offense. Iowa Western with the control of the ball on this side of the field, taking up the right side, trying to get beyond the Lewis and Clark defender. Gets around the defender, now gets around the defender. Head will take a centering kick into the side, and Lewis and Clark kicks it away.
That was great footwork by Anna Hall from Iowa Western, and great defense from 17 and from 17, Olivia Mauser. You can't ask for anything better. A little bit of a dive in at the end, but we cleared it out, and Lewis and Clark's ready to defend this throw-in.
Throw-in for Iowa Western. There's a centering pass, actually shot on goal, and easily handled by Ali Chile.
You know, Mike, I think the most dangerous play right now of the game for Iowa Western was that corner kick for the shot that just, went a little bit above the crossbar there. I think other than that, Lewis and Clark's been really cementing their back line pretty well.
Lewis and Clark with possession now in the Iowa Western end. Ball goes out of bounds right in front of Iowa Western's bench. Lewis and Clark throw in, pass up to Mitchell, taken by a defender for Iowa Western. Now back in control of Lewis and Clark as it goes out of play.
Iowa Western looks like they're subbing again, and I wonder if they're just getting a little worn out from the high press that Tim Rooney's side and Lewis and Clark have been giving them for the first 30 minutes of this game.
Ball going back and forth, possessed by Iowa Western, and then Lewis and Clark. Now Iowa Western, Lewis and Clark again. Ball in the center of the field now. Off a Lewis and Clark player, and now in control by number 6, Anna Hall. For Iowa Western, pass up, kicked away by a Lewis and Clark defender. Now Thieves with the ball. She goes up the left side of the field, gets beyond the Iowa Western defender, looking for someone to center to, passes over to number 10, Grace O's ball, but gets it knocked away before it could get to Iowa Western with the ball now.
Iowa Western looking for a breakaway, but just not in the cards for right now. Lewis and Clark has done such a great job of making sure that Iowa Western can't turn and go towards goal that it's kind of wearing down Iowa Western a little bit.
Ball kicked out by Iowa Western. Lewis and Clark will have a throw in on the near side of the field in their end. Throw across midfield and kicked out. Kick that away.
I did. Saving the equipment here at 89.9.
Iowa Western with the throw in. Lewis and Clark takes it away.
Nice little flick there. Lewis and Clark throwing great defense there from number 10, Grace Oswald. What a great way to defend, not letting her turn and face up.
Lewis and Clark with throw in. Controlled by Lewis and Clark player and then taken away by Iowa Western. They have the ball now across midfield. Crossing pass over to the left side of the field. Knocked down by Lewis and Clark and kicked back into the Iowa Western zone.
I mean, the game plan for Lewis and Clark couldn't have gone any better right as of this point in the half. A lot of high press, a lot of great work from the forwards. All they need now is just, again, to finish. It's just putting the opportunity together.
Well, for a team like Iowa Western who likes to control the ball, I don't think they've probably controlled it near as much as they would have wanted to.
They definitely are not playing the game they like to play right now, and credit is due to the back line of Lewis and Clark as well, really staying organized. And Iowa Western ranked number 4, one of the best teams in junior college soccer this year for the women, and we're seeing that Lewis and Clark is doing quite well.
Sitting pass, Iowa Western takes a shot and they score.
That's just a great shot, upper 90.
I tell you what, there was a lot of fighting for the ball at the top of the goalie box, and and then you just shot goes off, and one gets a nice shot on the goal, and it goes in.
It happens. It's unfortunately what happens sometimes in soccer. Just a great shot, great instep shot. She didn't curl it. She just put a little bit of power on it and enough to get by Ali Chile. But again, a lot of soccer left to play. 1-0 for the women's team this season. Really hasn't been a big uphill battle for them. And the way they're playing, it's anybody's game still.
We'll get you a number on the person who scored that goal for Iowa Western. It's an advantage point we couldn't see. So we'll get that for you here shortly. "13 minutes left here in the first half. Iowa Western just put the first goal on the board. They finally had an opportunity down in that offensive end. Iowa Western with control of the ball in their own end, about to take it across midfield.
What a tackle.
Nice takeaway there by Oswald. Now she's going up. She's on the attack. She's trying to find, can she take a shot or center? She takes a shot, and it's just wide left. I thought, I'm calling the play like, okay, they're going to take it across, and then all of a sudden, Oswald comes in, takes the ball away, and takes it all the way up and puts a shot just wide.
That's why you can't rule out this offensive line of Lewis and Clark. The high press, I mean, as you see, that's what Iowa Western wants to do, is just roll the ball back and forth, create points of attack, but Lewis and Clark definitely not letting them do it.
Here's the ball kicked out by Iowa Western. Lewis and Clark gets the throw in the Iowa Western end. Goes out again, and now Iowa Western has control. It's the Iowa Western Reavers.
Reavers.
I just find myself wanting to say Iowa Western instead of Reavers. I don't know why.
Me as well. We're seeing the ball bounce here in the midfield.
Iowa Western with control, but great. Lewis and Clark defenders are all over them.
Lewis and Clark getting another chance brewing here.
Here's a shot, and that's going to be wide as well.
Once Lewis and Clark starts, putting the final pieces together in the final third there in the 18-yard box, they'll be in pretty good shape. There's getting a lot of movement off the ball, a lot of attacking chances. Just can't find the one to put them on the scoreboard just yet.
Iowa Western with control of the ball now as they take it across midfield. There's a pass on up. Now in control, Iowa Western, another opportunity, but the goaltender comes out and kicks it away. So threat over for the moment. That's a dangerous play. That just a little bit of a seeing eye pass gets through the back line, and a great chance from Ali Chile to come out with her feet. Didn't use her hands there, just to get a little bit more movement out of the ball, out of their end line there. Lewis and Clark now has control of the ball. Chrissy Mitchell. And I guess it was taken away, and I guess Mitchell took her defender to the ground, and the ball now goes over to Iowa Western.
Yep, game's definitely starting to slow down a little bit more aggressiveness coming out of the play from Lewis and Clark. So we're going to start seeing a little bit more fouls called, but nothing too crucial just yet.
A pass that squirts all the way up to Lewis and Clark's goaltender, Ali Chile. She kicks it over midfield. Mitchell going after it. Oh, now that has to be some kind of penalty on Iowa Western.
Yes, it is. We got a free kick for Lewis and Clark in a dangerous spot here, just about 35 yards out. This is a great opportunity for the women's side, and if they can get something in here, good chance they'll be tying the game up.
Carolyn Smith will take this free kick. Seems like the defender just grabbed a hold of the Lewis and Clark player's leg as she was in the air and brought her down.
And we're seeing the wall break now. She's got to be careful. That's a caution if she does it again.
Be ready.
Here's the centering pass. It's up towards goal. Oh, and just off the top of the goal. I mean, the goaltender went up, and it's like there might be a chance for that to squeak in, but it just goes off the top. Nice kick.
That was a beautiful free kick, just a hair above the crossbar. It's kind of been the sign of the times for the squad today. I mean, just putting a lot of great opportunities out there, just can't seem to finish just yet.
Still goal kick for Iowa Western. Ball's kicked up to midfield. Lewis and Clark kicks it back in. There's a skirmish for the ball. Iowa Western has control now. An Iowa Western player sends it over to the left side of the field. Now to play. Lewis and Clark with the throw-in.
Substitution now for Lewis and Clark. Also, looks like Lauren Kirby is back out there for Lewis and Clark.
Coming in for Allison Corial. There's the throw-in, headed by Iowa Western. Kicked to midfield by Iowa Western. Iowa Western with the ball on the far side of the field. Now advances the ball up, taking it down the far side of the field. Looking in towards the center, looking for a chance to center. Does center, and that's a shot that went off the side of the goal.
Yep, you saw number 6 there from Iowa Western. That is Anna Hall. She was trying to sneak through the back post there and try to sneak through a Lewis and Clark defender, just a cross that wasn't meant to be. Another sub for Iowa Western, that is Addison Moiser. Mauser.
Ball advanced up to midfield. Iowa Western takes control of it now. Lewis and Clark steals right at midfield. There's Mitchell with the ball. Mitchell forwards it on up. This is an opportunity for Lewis and Clark. Ball just beyond the reach of Grace Oswald. And the goalkeeper for Iowa Western comes out and kicks it away.
Lewis and Clark still puts pressure on, and
there's a nice tackle. Oswald, and she steals the ball away. Finding someone to pass it to, crosses it over to the other side. Taken by an Iowa Western defender.
Just great defense by the Lewis and Clark front line there. Not letting the ball get out of Iowa Western's defensive third, but right now we're on a breakaway for Iowa Western.
And a pass that goes all the way to Ali Cheeley, our goalkeeper, Lewis and Clark's goalkeeper. There's a kick beyond midfield, headed by Iowa Western. Now controlled by Iowa Western right at midfield. They bring it into Lewis and Clark's end just to be kicked away. There's Mitchell. Mitchell has on the ball.
Bad bounce there.
Yeah, Iowa Western has it right at midfield. There's a flailing kick to try to control the ball.
Looked like a roadhouse kick.
It did. Quintel had the ball there and couldn't quite get to it. Iowa Western now has the ball in Lewis and Clark's end. Oh, there was an opportunity for a takeaway from Lewis and Clark, but lost the ball. Controlled by number 9, Paula Botha, but she kicks her pass and it goes all the way to Ali Cheeley.
Just about 5 minutes remaining in the first half, and if you're Tim Rooney right now, you can't be too disgruntled about the way it went this half. Just an unfortunate break there for Iowa Western. Great defense by Lewis and Clark's front line, and a breakaway just out of the reach of number 4 there. That's Skylar Holin's head.
So it was kicked away by the goaltender for Iowa Western. Iowa Western with control now in their end. Ball kicked across midfield. No one there but Lewis and Clark players. Now advanced up down the right side of the field. And this ball is going to go out of play.
For the next couple of minutes, I think we can expect to see a lot of balls being just blasted almost, I hate to say that word, but blasted right there back to the Iowa Western goalkeeper. They're going to put a lot of pressure on the back line of Iowa to try to get a goal before half.
You can tell how tenacious this Lewis and Clark team has been, you know, with their defense on their offensive end of the zone. And you just see Christy Mitchell now, who seems to have been all over the place. And it's like she's gasping for some air right now and just a little winded.
Absolutely, and honestly, right now, she has to be one of the top players performing in this game. She's put so much pressure and created so many opportunities for Lewis and Clark that one you would think is got to be coming her way soon.
So the ball being thrown in on the far side of the field, kicked out a couple times. Iowa Western will throw it back in again. Headed away by Lewis and Clark. To an Iowa Western player and then off of a Lewis and Clark player out of play.
Wind's picking up here a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. There's a pass up to, oh, just missed out of the reach of Christy Mitchell.
But she's still with it. And Lewis
and there's Lewis Clark has a shot. Right in, oh, there's a shot that's just kicked away. What a great opportunity for Grace Osvoth. And it looked like that was going to be Lewis and Clark's best chance, but just kind of kicked away at the last minute.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a great offensive play right there. And just unfortunately, Lewis and Clark couldn't put the final string on it, as we've seen so much in this first half. And you got to think sometime the dam has to break, and that's what we always say.
Iowa Western with the ball now. Pass. It's going to go all the way to the Lewis and Clark goaltender. This kick will go beyond midfield. Lewis and Clark with possession.
And you know what, to Iowa Western's credit, they're showing they're a number 4 ranked team. They're handling Lewis and Clark's high press really well right now. You've seen them get a little tired, but nothing too drastic yet.
There's an opportunity for Lewis and Clark. A pass on up to Mitchell. Just gets away. Lewis and Clark keeps control. Now here's a turn. Here's a shot on goal, and just hit wide.
What a save. That was deflected by Sydney Marlowe by an extension of a right hand, and Lewis and Clark, that was their greatest chance at goal.
Skylar Hollingshead took that shot.
Corner kick with 2 minutes left.
Corner kick for Lewis and Clark, and you hear the crowd getting behind the Trailblazers now. Here's the centering pass to the middle and off the side of the net again.
That's something, you know, corner kicks and set pieces are going to be crucial in this game, and you know, Skylar obviously didn't want to do that there, and hopefully we can find a corner kick to make up for that.
Well, that's 2 now, right? And I'm not one to be critical because I don't play soccer, and obviously I don't know a whole lot about it, but it seems there's no opportunity there to even do anything when it goes off the side of the net.
No, and unfortunately it does happen sometimes, and it could be the wind because we are getting a pretty strong breeze here. It does play a factor in corner kicks.
There's a battle for the ball at midfield. Iowa Western has it, now kicked towards the center of the field, in control by Iowa Western. Turning a pass off and a pass back to number 6, Anna Hall. Anna Hall kicks it over, and this is gonna, just stay in bounds, saved by Botha.
Great skill work there, pulled it right behind and kept it in bounds.
Botha with the ball, she centers it up. Kicked away by Lewis and Clark.
Just over a minute left in the half, and Lewis and Clark is gonna be moving up the field here with some power.
Ball just beyond the reach or control, reached by Mitchell, but she couldn't quite control it. And there's Botha with a shot that's going to go high and deep.
Can't blame her for trying on that. Botha's been just phenomenal this entire half. Got a little dinged up the first couple of minutes, but doesn't seem to phase her.
There's a goal kick that now is controlled by Iowa Western. Moser has the ball. Lewis and Clark steals it away now. Lewis and Clark coming up the left side of the field across midfield. Great control there by Grace Osvoth. She has a chance to send it up to Mitchell on the left-hand side. Mitchell's going to try to find a way to send her across. She does. She's there. There's a kick. Why was that not a handball? It seemed like a kick by Skylar Hollingshead. I guess if it's incidental, it's not a hand. But, I mean, what was that?
It definitely was. You see the referee there shaking his head. He didn't see it, is what he just said with that. A lot of players were just giving a little bit of lip there, but unfortunately it's the way it goes sometimes. Sometimes you get the call, sometimes you don't.
So let me restage that play. That play was controlled by Osvoth. She passed it on up to Mitchell. Mitchell centered, then to Hollingshead, who took a shot, and it looked like it went off the hand of a Iowa Western defender.
Yeah, just an unlucky break there from Lewis and Clark. The referee we're seeing now, he didn't see it, and it's just an unlucky break. We'll see what Lewis and Clark can do to rebound from that.
And as we talk about that, the half ends. So a great half of soccer. We'll be back to recap it in just a little bit, but right now it's Iowa Western 1, Lewis and Clark nothing. We'll be back with half details in the second half. Also an interview for you when we come back. You're listening to College Radio's Best. as the Trailblazers taking on Iowa Western, trailing this game 1-0, even though the scoreboard says 98-1. It's 1-0, Iowa Western. And for the second half play-by-play, here's CJ Nasello.
Thank you, Mike. We're going to have Iowa Western kicking off to start the second half. I don't know what more Tim Rooney could want out of his team. A lot of high press going on, and we'll see how they continue this second half. Very strong defense there by Christine Mitchell, really wanting that ball. Iowa Western going deep with it to number 13. Ball moving up the field now, but just the start of the half, you're seeing a lot of high press, a lot of balls moving back and forth. Not really settled down just yet. But number 10, Grace Oswald, putting pressure on pretty good right now. And Lewis and Clark will keep the ball with a throw-in.
You know, Grace has done a great job today, man. The pressure, she's controlled the ball a lot and then just been really, really tough.
And a nice cross there, just right out of the reach of Christine Mitchell from Grace Oswald again on that attacking play. Iowa Western throwing at, from our vantage point, it's very hard to see from this part of the field. Iowa Western getting a little bit of a break going here. And Allie Cheeley's just going to pick that one up as a through ball just goes on right past the back line. And if Lewis and Clark can keep getting those, it's going to be a good day for a good second half for them.
Yeah, that was a pass up to Anna Hall and was just out of the reach. It looks like she might have a chance to chase it down, but not before Cheeley got to it.
Ball bouncing there. That's Kayla Thies on the ball right now, bodying off, and it's going to be a Lewis and Clark throw-in. Great defense there by Kayla Thies. Christine Mitchell gets the ball up the line right by the corner flag for Lewis and Clark, and Lewis and Clark will keep the ball with the throw-in. Lewis and Clark will throw the ball back and reset with the cross just deflected out of the reach of Kayla Thies, it looks like. Great touch there by number 4, Skylar Hollinshead, and a ball, just great idea there. She tried to play Kara Crutchley on a through ball, just slides out of bounds.
Yeah, in football, that would have been called a push-off. She created some space by giving her defender a little shove.
Christine Mitchell with the ball right now, and she's holding it and tries to play it out wide for Kayla Thies, just out of her reach. Christine Mitchell had 3 defenders on her and just tried to get it off, didn't happen. Another ball that's going to be blasted out of the back line by Iowa Western, but put right back in by Lewis and Clark's back line. A lot of back and forth soccer right now to start off the second half of this district final. Number 24 right now with Iowa Western, that is Ella Pelletier playing the ball up the line. One right back by Skylar Hollinshead.
Skylar doing a great job there, took control of that ball.
Yep, and just deflected right back up the field. Iowa Western goes with it. And a through ball that doesn't go through. Number 12 for Lewis and Clark, Ava Keeley. Putting it to Skylar Hollinshead.
Kara Crutchley there with nice defense. She was pretty tenacious on going after the Iowa Western player.
She was there in Iowa Western. You see what they just did. They rolled the ball up through their back line, trying to pass it out, and then just couldn't find the forward there, number 13, Addison Mauser for the connecting pass. And it's going to be a Lewis and Clark throw-in. Lewis and Clark could be on the breakaway with this. Iowa Western didn't know. Christine Mitchell, great defense there. She kept the ball for Lewis and Clark. Won't matter, though, as number 9, Paula Botha, she's going to take the ball up the field with a great through ball. And Iowa Western is on the break here. It looks like a cross is coming in. Cleared by number 8. That is Kara Crutchley. What a great read from the back line.
Yeah, it was just Crutchley and the Iowa Western player, and Crutchley was able to get to it first and kick it away, but that was a little scary. It looked like Iowa Western had a nice shot there.
Yeah, and that's Botha again, just creating another play for Iowa Western. There's a reason she has, 40 points on the year.
Yeah. She's with the ball now.
Nothing really doing for Iowa Western right now. They played the ball back to try to build. Center back for him, number 5, taking the ball forward with a shot that's going to go wide for a goal kick. Nothing really happened right there. You saw a lot of bodies there, but Lewis and Clark put pressure on him well, and all she could get out of it was a shot and now a goal kick for Lewis and Clark. Mike, what do you think so far about the start of the second half?
Well, it's a lot of the same thing that we saw the first half. Passes just beyond the reach or just kicked away, and throw-ins being kicked out. I mean, so a lot of the same. It's just you wonder if Lewis and Clark's plan changes any, or they just stick with it at least for the big part of this half, because they played Iowa Western really, really well. Unfortunately, they gave up a goal, haven't scored one of their own, and I'm just wondering, and you could tell me this, if the game plan has to change at all, or you just stick to it for now.
For right now, I think you just hit it right on the head. I'd stay the same. You're putting great pressure on them. You're getting a lot of great results out of it. Just can't seem to put the ball in the back of the net yet, so I keep it the same until about 10 minutes left in the half and throw them all out there. Number 10, Grace Oswald with the ball again. She has been a menace so far in the second half trying to create chances. And she wins it.
Oh, then she's taken down.
Yep, that was a hard work foul right there. She earned every bit of that. Lewis and Clark will have a free kick right above the half line. And this could be dangerous for Iowa Western's back line. Lewis and Clark seems to have a little bit of height with Christine Mitchell, and anything can happen on a 50-50.
Carolyn Smith will take this kick. All the offense presses forward.
Great ball in the box. Christine Mitchell header right over the crossbar.
Man, what a great opportunity there. You saw that developing, right? Deep kick in. You see that Mitchell was going to be the one to hit the ball first. She put a nice header on it, just over the goal.
Great set piece there. You can't ask for much better. If it went in, it would be a lot better, but great start for Lewis and Clark here. Iowa Western advancing up the field now, and it looks like they're trying to play a through ball to the right side, but number 12 for Lewis and Clark, Keeley, she is going to clear it, and great read there from the through ball.
She had 2 chances there. She can either kick it out of bounds, or she had a Lewis and Clark player, but that would have been centering the ball, right?
Right.
And if you don't hit it just right, you could have just made a big mistake, so she took the safe route and kicked it out.
That's the golden rule for the back line. You don't like to play the ball across the middle of the field. You like to just kick it out and reset, and that's what we did here. And Lewis and Clark creating a chance here. That's Oswald again clearing it out for Lewis and Clark, and Christine Mitchell wins the ball. And a little bit of confusion on the field right now. The referee has signaled for...
I think when she went for the ball, she kicked it out, and as she was kicking it out, player went down, but it's just a regular throw-in for Iowa Western.
Oh, okay. Absolutely, and Iowa Western building now off of that play in the game, and number 6 with it for Iowa Western, that is Anna Hall again. Nothing happening, though, for Iowa Western still.
Absolutely gorgeous day today, isn't it, CG? I mean, if you've not been on the campus lately, or you've not been on at all, it's a beautiful campus. And this soccer stadium is beautiful, nice stands. The field looks wonderful, and it's just a great day to be outside and enjoy this district championship game.
It really is, and if you're listening at home, it really is a great game. Stop by for the last couple of minutes of this half, last 30. You're in for a treat. It's a very fast-paced game. Number 24 is going to throw it in again for Iowa Western. And we have another foul throw-in. You don't see very many of those at the collegiate level, and that's something that
Is it something you don't see called often, or they just don't do it? I mean, are they
both?
Okay.
Both. You don't see a lot of players doing it, but a referee will let it slide a couple of times, and not today.
She just threw the ball up, but she threw it out of bounds.
Yeah, that's another costly throw-in mistake. Both sides have had him here. Number 24 is going to try again.
Pelletier. She throws in, it's stolen away by Lewis and Clark.
And Christine Mitchell putting pressure, and that could have been dangerous. Oswald still has it, though. Ball bouncing in the midfield. Number 6 with it. Anna Hall plays it to number 19. And Anna's going to go down where Iowa Western. A through ball to number 9. That's Paula Botha.
Yeah.
As she gets through defenders of Lewis and Clark, puts a shot on and deflected for a corner kick. That's a dangerous sequence of events.
Yeah, anytime that Botha gets the ball, it's a little bit scary because we know the damage that she's done all year. And she's going to be the one that takes this corner kick.
And with Botha, it's not very explosive, but it's so creative and unique how she attacks that it causes a lot of problems for Lewis and Clark's back line as she prepares for this corner.
If you're just tuning in, it's 1-0 Iowa Western over Lewis and Clark. Lewis and Clark's played a great game. It's just Iowa Western was able to put one in.
And it was a great shot from Iowa Western in the middle part of the first half as Lewis and Clark is going to clear this corner kick, but Iowa Western having a defender to seal up the back line for him just in case, puts it back in. Ball is bouncing in front of Lewis and Clark's 18-yard box. And Kamira playing number 9, that is Paula Botha again, deflected on a shot, and Lewis and Clark is going to try to advance, but not just yet, as Iowa Western is playing it back down the line, number 19 on a great through ball. Across in, just skimming the bar. Addison Mauser right now with the ball, and it's going to go back out for an Iowa Western throwing.
Yeah, that last play, a through ball that got through, you're thinking, okay, here's another shot for Iowa Western. That shot that she took, from our vantage point, that looked like that could have gone in and just kind of not grazed the bar, but just in front of it.
Yeah, definitely not what you wanted to see there, and she definitely wishes she could have that one back. But Iowa Western still putting pressure on early, seeing a little bit of a reverse right now of what the first half entailed. Botha with the ball, or Botha with the ball here at top of the Lewis and Clark 18-yard box, and a foul called. You don't see that with the player still having the ball, but Botha gets the foul called, and Iowa Western has a dangerous free kick about 25 yards in front of goal.
Lewis and Clark had a similar kick like this earlier that had to be defended and knocked away, and yeah, you're right. This is a little scary opportunity here for the Reavers.
Yep, and that's Maria Quintel. She will be taking the free kick for the Reavers and asking for 10 yards now as the referee is going to move the wall back a half a step. And it does matter sometimes.
A shot right on goal.
Yep, you want to put those on frame, but sometimes you're a little bit luckier whenever you put them over the ball, over the bar instead of to the goalkeeper. Lewis and Clark.
And Chile didn't have to move a whole lot to defend that.
No, and Lewis and Clark's on a breakaway right now. Ooh. I couldn't see who got the shot off there. Lewis and Clark got a shot.
It was Thies.
Thies got a shot off, deflected, and Iowa Western's back down the field now. A lot of back and forth, and deflected off of Chile. A little dangerous.
I take that back. It was a pass by Thieves, but it was Oswald that took the shot.
It was a very fast play, very quickly developed, and just out of the reach. Oswald.
All the way back down now, the end of the field by we were figuring out who did the kick.
Yeah, that's what you got to like about high press soccer. You get a lot of back and forth. It's a very fast moving game right now, and it'll stay that way for the next couple of minutes at least. Lewis and Clark clearing the ball right now, but just to 13 again for Iowa Western. She's sealed up that middle third for Iowa Western. That's Addison Mauser that has been really doing well defending zonally for Iowa Western right now as she tries to play a ball in the box and just not really getting anything developed yet. A shot from Addison Mauser just wide though. If you can't create a chance, take it, right?
I tell you what, there's been this bee that's been messing with us.
I'm telling you.
It's been about as tenacious as Lewis and Clark's press. But I know, in a second here, you're going to yell, one of us yell, ow, because we're going to swat at it.
Oh, and you have a spider on your collar, too. Let me get that for you.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, you really did.
Yeah.
We're braving the elements for you here at 89.9.
Oh, there's a
on a breakaway, will it be enough? Just out of the reach of Oswald. Lewis and Clark is taking chances. They just can't cement them yet, and we'll see how it goes later on this half. Ball in the middle of the field now to a Lewis and Clark defender. It goes back up to Mitchell, who's holding the ball. Great pass there by Mitchell, just deflected back to Botha for Iowa Western as Iowa Western moves up the field. They're in the middle part of Tim Rooney Stadium right now. And great defense there, defensive awareness for number 15, Carolyn Smith for Lewis and Clark.
For those of you tuning in, Iowa Western leading 1-0 in this contest with about 30 minutes left in the game.
And a foul called. That was a pretty hard tackle there, but Lewis and Clark.
Yeah, Botha took down Oswald there, and Lewis and Clark will have a free kick just beyond midfield.
This is what happened last time and started Lewis and Clark's most dangerous play of the game. We'll see if they can recreate it and put something on number 15, Carolyn Smith, to take the free kick.
Yeah, Mitchell lined up where she was last time when she took the header.
Oh, and a great free kick just in the hands of Sydney Marlowe.
Yeah, that carried a little too far all the way to Marlowe, the goalkeeper for Iowa Western.
And Marlowe's been rolling these balls out to their back line, but Christine Mitchell is putting so much pressure that it's hard for Iowa to do anything with it, as they have a throw-in now on their defensive third. Man.
Yeah, Lewis and Clark's Ava Keeley tried a little touch pass that just went beyond a Lewis and Clark player.
Absolutely, and Iowa Western building down the middle of the field, but Lewis and Clark, Oswald stuffs it out again. And Sydney Hollinshead has the ball going down the right side of the field right now, beating an Iowa player. Number 6 has it for Lewis and Clark, and she's going to hold the ball for right now as nothing's really developing.
Yeah, good footwork there by Fees.
Yep, Kara Crutchley with the ball into Mitchell, just out of her reach. And it's just anyone's ball right now in the middle part of the field. A lot of aggressive play right now. Nothing really getting settled down. A shot from Lewis and Clark right in the hands of the goalkeeper. Skylar Nickel tried to get that one off with her left foot. Just couldn't do enough with it.
Yeah, I was thinking, man, it would be nice if Lewis and Clark could just have one big booming kick from maybe the top of the box or something. And that one didn't have a whole lot on it, and it just carried on to the goalkeeper.
Yeah, we got a handball here right now for Iowa Western and their defensive third, so they're going to have a free kick for an entry pass here. All it takes is one, and a lot of times in these games when you have a team like Lewis and Clark putting so many chances together, if you get one, normally more come. Free kick goes down to number 13 for Iowa Western, but it'll come right back out from Lewis and Clark as the ball is cleared by the center back. Just a lot of back and forth play right now here at Tim Rooney Stadium, Mike.
Yeah, I tell you what, Lewis and Clark still looking good like they did in the first half, controlling the ball a lot. We just need a few more opportunities.
Yep, and a through ball right to Allie Cheeley, the goalkeeper for Lewis and Clark, as they'll build back up the field. A lot of movement, but nothing really too dangerous as of yet for both sides. As we have a Lewis and Clark player down, that's Oswald off a head injury. This isn't good to see ever.
And that's always scary. It didn't seem like they caught her off the side of the head more than the top of the front of the head. She's back up now.
She's back up, and they're going to let her stay on the field.
They even wave off the trainer, so.
Yeah, that is dangerous, though, to get hit in the side of the head. It doesn't, matter how hard the ball. Oh, yep, they are going to send her off.
They're going to send her off, I guess, to get checked out.
Yep, that is a rule now with the soccer leagues in any part of the country, and it's actually I agree with the rule. You want to check.
Yeah,
for
you just want to check and see if there's any fear of concussion there, and it happens in all professional sports now, to where, safety is first, even in an important game like this district final. Yep,
and we have a double substitution now. 2 players from each side have come onto the field. Number 7 for Iowa Western, number 10 as well, and Lauren Kirby came back on for Lewis and Clark. Number 17, Olivia Mauser.
And Oswald, I guess she got checked out by the trainer. She's back, so everything seems to be okay.
Quick checking back on the field, so we're ready to go here at Tim Rooney Stadium. We had a little bit of a stoppage right now. I think what they're going to do is the referee's going to drop the ball to an Iowa Western player and have her kick it back to the goalkeeper and start over.
While we wait here, I want to let the listeners know if they know anyone, if they're interested in a career in broadcasting or media content creation, they can contact me at 466-8936 and find out about our broadcasting program.
Hollinshead steals the ball, Lewis and Clark! What a save by Cindy Marlowe! Crucial moment here in the second half of the district final. Hollinshead stole it at the top of the 18, put some mustard on it, but Sydney Marlowe gets a hand to it as we have a Lewis and Clark corner.
That, by far, was our best opportunity.
Absolutely.
I jumped out of my seat a little bit on that.
I thought the bee stung you. We're having fun at Tim Rooney Stadium as we prepare for a Carolyn Smith corner kick. a screamer into the box, deflected out by Botha. Lauren Kirby putting the fight to Iowa Western. She's sealing the ball, and a clearance turns into a Lewis and Clark throw-in at the half line. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm seeing a momentum shift here after that.
I was about to say that. You see where it seems like Lewis and Clark's turning it up a little bit right now.
They definitely got fired up off of that breakaway, and it's a great sight to see. Looks like it's just going to be a little too much for...
There was a pass up along the right side, and there was just no one there.
No. And we have a goal kick now for Iowa Western.
I think Thies anticipated that Skylar Hollingshead was going to be down there, but Skylar wasn't quite down there just yet.
Rakira Kimura coming in for Iowa Western. She will be back on as a forward. Lauren Kirby putting a lot of pressure right now to Botha, and she turns it over. Botha does, first time this game. Sydney Hollingshead on the breakaway from a great ball by Oswald. Hollingshead still has it in the corner of the field. And it gets cleared right back to Lewis and Clark. And a foul right now going in. Great heads-up play there by number 8. That's Kara Crutchley. She's been heads up defensively today, and she gets the foul called there. Another dangerous opportunity, Mike.
Yeah, that was a foul on both that took her down, but good sportsmanship. She went over and shook her hand like, hey, sorry about that. But yeah, now we got another free kick here by Carolyn Smith.
Yep, and she's been putting some laser beams out there in the box. I wouldn't want to get in front of these free kicks, that's for sure.
Probably the tallest Lewis and Clark Trailblazer, I would guess.
Great ball in the box. Is it going to be enough? Ooh! Just out of the reach of a sliding Chrissy Mitchell, and we'll have an Iowa Western goal kick.
That opportunity, gosh, she can really put her foot into the ball. And yeah, you see this, that Mitchell was streaking towards the goal, and just a nice slide to try to kick it in, just beyond her reach. You could see, not that I could see the face of the goaltender, but you could see some concern about where she anticipated that ball ending up, but just beyond the reach of Mitchell.
24 left here at the second half of the district final, but we've told you this is anybody's game still. We talked at halftime, Mike. A lot of pressure still from Lewis and Clark. This doesn't feel like a game. They're down 1-0.
No, it really doesn't. It's just that one opportunity that they capitalized on. But Lewis and Clark, in some instances, other than the score, you could say they played a better game.
I completely agree. Lauren Kirby steals it right off the foot of number 10 from Iowa Western. Bounces right back, though, to Iowa Western. It's back line as they build up the field. And right now, just a little bit of a build-up play. And this is what Iowa Western likes to do. They like to build. They like to possess. Lewis and Clark hasn't given them very many opportunities so far this game. And we're seeing that now as they tried to go for a through ball again to number 19, Rakira Kimura, and it just didn't work.
The first half, Iowa Western had the more real chances, I thought.
Yes.
Lewis and Clark controlled the ball a lot, but a lot more organized response by Iowa Western. They had the better shots. So far, this half, Lewis and Clark's had a few chances that you go, okay, Lewis and Clark is the one that has momentum, and maybe one of these chances can actually sneak into the goal.
That's what I completely agree. We're seeing it kind of more and more. As I told you earlier, the dam hopefully starting to crack a little bit. We have a corner kick right now, or a throw-in right there on the corner flag for Iowa Western. No, it is a corner kick. They just signaled for it. They go short for the corner as they try to build for a cross. And Nakawa with a great cross in, punched out by Ali Chile. And we'll do it again.
Yeah. Sun's getting a little higher in the sky now. It's warming up even more. Still a breeze, keeping it kind of just an absolutely beautiful fall day here on Lewis and Clark's campus.
It really is. It's a great day for a soccer game, and a great soccer game at that. A lot of back and forth action here at Tim Rooney Stadium as we prepare for the corner kick from Iowa Western. Ball in the box here, and it's just going to sneak right on through. Carolyn Smith looking to clear. Deflected off of Iowa. Lewis and Clark keeps the ball. How about that?
And that was going close to being out, and she waited just long enough to kick it to make sure it deflected off Iowa Western defender, and they would have the ball.
That was a heads-up play from Carolyn Smith. One back by Iowa Western. And it goes out for an Iowa Western throw-in right here at the attacking third of Lewis and
Yeah,
Clark.
Paige Bauer had the ball for Lewis Clark. She couldn't quite control it, get a foot on it, I guess. And it goes out, and now it's a throw-in for Iowa Western in the Lewis and Clark end.
Yeah, and we've been seeing a lot of it. It's going to go right back out. Deflection off of Lauren Kirby for a Lewis and Clark throw-in, and a sub for Iowa Western again. We're seeing a lot of substitutions from Iowa Western. We saw a lot more of them in the first half at the end, but this could be a sign that Lewis and Clark's defense is working here a little bit and wearing them down.
Yeah, Nadia Clark is going out. You can see her kind of holding her side, and the substitution is for her, and that's number 13, Moser's coming in.
Number 12.
There's,
oh.
I thought it was going to be another one of those foul throw-ins.
I did as well, but we're just going to throw the ball right back in. Iowa Western has it. And a deflection, it sounded like, but it's a deflection for Lewis and Clark. They get the throw in. And you can see you can hear the girls right now, a lot of intensity on the field, a lot of commands being shouted. They're ready to really do something with this throw in, it looks like.
Yeah, Lewis and Clark still trails 1-0. 20 minutes left in the game.
Ball put back in and put right back out for an Iowa Western throw in right at the middle of the field. And a sub again for Iowa Western. Looks like Botha's coming back on. Both is coming back on the field. They're going to send number 3 back to be the right back, and Botha is going to go back up to being the center mid. Ball right now gets cleared, and Thies again wins that ball right there in the midfield. Lewis and Clark putting some pressure right now. Thies has it back. A great ball into Mitchell, just out of her reach. Great touch there, just couldn't put it together. Lewis and Clark still has the ball. They're building right now. They looked for Mitchell. Mitchell wasn't there. Iowa Western has it right back in their defensive third. Right now, not really much, just a lot of passing back and forth and trying to open up some points of attack for Iowa Western as they cross the midfield line into Lewis and Clark's defensive half.
Yeah, Lewis and Clark on that last play tried to kick it up the near side of the field, and nice pass. They just couldn't put the offense together, but now Iowa Western has a shot.
If that was a dangerous opportunity for Iowa Western, they saw that the center back was calling for an offside, didn't get the call, but it's a Lewis and Clark throw-in after that just seed its way through out of the field.
Yeah, somebody from Iowa Western has her hands up like something was wrong, but yeah, it seemed like the players were beyond the Lewis and Clark defense, which would have been offside.
Thies has it, and she plays Oswald. Oswald goes down, but no foul called. Thies back with it as they move up the field. Hollinshead has it, and she plays the ball to Oswald in the corner. Can Oswald get there? 2-10s running the ball, and it'll sneak out of bounds for an Iowa Western throw-in.
18 minutes left in this contest, and you said earlier you think that Lewis and Clark will just keep doing what they're doing, and we may see a ramp up at about the 10-minute mark, but I think the ramp ups happened a little earlier, and our friend B is back.
Yes, he is, and we have a throw-in for Iowa Western, and I think there's something in my hairspray today. It's contracting this beat. I don't know. Sydney Hollinshead wins the ball for Lewis and Clark. No foul called.
There's a long shot on goal there.
Yep, I think she was just hoping Christy Mitchell would be there, but not the case as Iowa has the ball.
And why wouldn't she think that Christy Mitchell would be there? Because Christy Mitchell's been all over the place.
She has. She's been the player to watch, in my opinion, for Lewis and Clark. Really just putting
definitely in the early part of the first half, and then it seems late in the first half and throughout a big portion of this one, it's been Grace Osvoff that's been all over the place.
Definitely. It's been a great showing for those two, and Grace Oswald really putting the pressure right now for Lewis and Clark as Ali Chile gets the ball after a through ball, just doesn't quite seem to connect. Ball bounces in the Iowa defensive third. Looks like Hollinshead's on the run. Let's see what happens. She slides and wins it, but it'll deflect out for a goal kick.
Yeah, that's unfortunate there. She was going after the ball and laid out as a Iowa Western defender, kicked the ball, went off of her a little too far and passed the end line. So, yeah, goal kick.
Yep, hard-working play, though, from Hollinshead again. Goal kick now sneaks almost out of bounds. Yeah,
it does go out of bounds. It'll be a Lewis and Clark throw in.
Lewis and Clark throwing to Chrissy Mitchell. We'll see what happens here. She turns on the defender. Could have been dangerous.
Yeah.
Right now, we're just right at the sideline as the ball goes down to the Lewis and Clark defensive third on a clearance. And right now, we're just kind of getting a lot of high press stuff. There's not really a lot of movement going on in terms of building with the ball. And this is what we kind of expected, I did anyway, being down 1-0 in a do-or-die game like this.
And when you're down 1-0, this half seems to be going quicker than the last. I look, I'm going 16 minutes. That's all that's left. We got to do something quick. So as the time continues to tick off, hopefully Lewis and Clark can find the back of the net before the regulation.
And the way they played all game, I really thought that this would be happening. But right now, Iowa Western doing a good job of keeping them away from their goal. Chrissy Mitchell comes back and wins it for Lewis and Clark, but it'll deflect right back to deflects right back to us.
Yeah, as soon as you're ready to call it, it's deflected by somebody else from the other team is taking it.
Definitely just a high-paced game, a lot of movement. It's a fun game to watch as Holland said tries to steal it off another defender for Iowa Western. It's happened a couple of times already.
As an extremely novice soccer fan, wow. There was a goal kick by Chile that went off the backside of an Iowa defender and then headed right towards the goal. So it was like, what just happened? You probably heard the boom. And that was the ball being kicked by Chile off the back of an Iowa Western defender.
Ball gets headed out by an Iowa Western defender and almost takes out the microphone. Lewis and Clark has a throw in at half line. Thieves going to take the throw. She's trying to find Oswald. And another Lewis and Clark throwing. The secret to a throwing is keep throwing it down the line. It'll go out of bounds eventually.
Oswald has it this time. Now she puts it in to Thieves.
Oswald puts it in the air. And it's just going to find the goalkeeper. That's Sydney Marlowe for Iowa Western as Iowa pushes up the field.
Now, it seems like the ball was centered in there, but there was no push to go get that ball once it went there. Maybe my angle just shows that it wasn't going to be an opportunity to get it before the defender for Iowa Western got there.
Clearance attempt by Kara Crutchley finds an Iowa Western player, but Lauren Kirby putting pressure on early. Referee's not having it, telling Iowa Western's number 11 to get up and play.
Yeah, she smacked the ground, and she wasn't happy about not getting the call there. But right, just very, very tenacious by Kirby.
You gotta like it. It's coming off the bench and firing up the team like that. And Lewis and Clark has potential here. Oswald on the run. Cleared right to Mitchell. And we have a ball right now up at half line. Looks like a 50-50 chance, and Lewis and Clark wins it. Sydney Holland said putting some pressure on. Oh, heads up.
Kicked out again. I think that Pelletier is aiming for us.
I think so too. That's a quite common as of the late second half. And it's going to be a Lewis and Clark throw and deflected off of Botha, or not the number 7. That is Nydia Clark. Fees to take the throw in. Hollinshead gets the throw.
Nice turn.
She's trying to find Mitchell. Great ball from Hollinshead. And that's a two-arm extension there. Getting a little chippy there in the box as time goes on in the second half. And you'll see that that's going to be a common trend here as time goes on and you're down 1-0. It will be getting more physical. Ball in the box from Mitchell, and that is a high one. Wow. And the referee on the side here is calling for something. We don't know what it is.
Well, the crowd was calling for a penalty kick.
And they're calling a corner kick.
Well, you're going to have to explain that one. I can describe what happened. The goaltender goes out to get the ball, and being pursued by Lewis and Clark, takes it, but then they both go down, so they turn it into a corner kick.
I think she slid out of bounds. That's the only thing I could think of here. I mean, I thought it was going to be a penalty kick here, but
Lewis and Clark fans were calling for a penalty kick, yeah.
They're letting them know. A lot of Lewis and Clark fans here today to watch this, as we have
Carolyn Smith with the corner.
Another good ball in the box. We'll see. Hollinshead puts it right back in. Deflection. And a throw in, it looks like, for Lewis and Clark.
God, that ball was headed away by Iowa Western right to the foot of Oswald, who takes another shot, and That was defended, but.
And a great throw and finds Thies, and Oswald has it.
Oh. Centering pass just beyond the reach of.
Ball gets cleared right back to Kara Crutchley, and she's going to put it right back in and find Sydney Hollinshead on a great ball.
Oh, she passes it to herself to the middle, but just beyond the reach. It seems like all these passes are just beyond the reach. She was passing to herself, but that went just a little bit far and was able to be defended.
And that's kind of what it's kind of a coincidence. Tim Rooney, we talked earlier, said we just couldn't finish the start of the season, and we're seeing it now as we have another round of substitutions. Number 19 coming off for Iowa Western, number 7 going to come off as well. Rakira Kimura and Nydia Clark coming off the field for Iowa Western as we have a Thies throwing. Ball gets cleared out by Iowa Western on the throw, and it'll find Thies again out there on the wing. Great ball into Sydney Hollinshead. A shot and a deflection finds Thies out wide. A cross in by Thies. Oh!
Yeah, just there's too much traffic in front of the last one. That pass over into Hollingshead, she turned, and there were just 2 defenders there, nothing. But then that shot that went on goal and just landed just on top of the goal. So that tells you how close that one was.
And we are 10 minutes left in the second half as this second half has flown by here at Tim Rooney Stadium. Just very, very high pace, very fast paced soccer. You had to love to see it on a beautiful Saturday, huh?
Lewis and Clark trailing in this one 1-0.
And the way they're playing, you wouldn't think they are. I mean, they're really putting a lot of pressure on as Mitchell's, again, attacking that back line.
You know, if they're not able to come back in this game, I know they're going to be incredibly disappointed, but Coach Rooney, I don't think will be. I think he'll understand that they played this game really well. And once again, as someone who's not near an expert in soccer whatsoever, just from the layman's eye, it looks like Lewis and Clark has played just as good, if not a better game, minus the 1 goal for Iowa Western.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. And if this is Tim Rooney's, in fact, last game as the head coach of this program, he has to be proud of the squad today. Iowa Western does get a goal kick, though. Cindy Marlowe's going to take that as the ball just cleared the goal line for by Lewis and Clark. Switching fields up, you don't see a lot of goalkeepers do that. They like to stay in the same part of the field it came out on. But Cindy Marlowe changes direction here. And a 50-50 ball won by Iowa Western, but Oswald comes back and wins it. She still has it, and a foul is going to be called. And
it's on Oswald.
The fans at Lewis and Clark, Tim Rooney Stadium, can't believe that Oswald is giving a little bit of the referee a piece of her mind as it'll be a. The referee stopping the game.
I think the ball traveled beyond where he wanted the kick to happen from.
She wasn't happy with it, but she fought hard for that ball, and it just turned into an Iowa Western free kick.
You know what we could do? This was an old trick that was taught to me from a mentor of mine years ago. We took a break during action, hoping that we might miss a goal. And it would be a goal for us. Because, we're not doing anything. If we were to take a break and a goal would be scored, we'd miss it, but a goal would be scored, so it's okay.
That's not a bad idea. It's like the rally cap for broadcasting,
Now we have our listeners going, then take a break.
No kidding. Allie Sheely punched the ball for Lewis and Clark. These putting some pressure on Iowa, but it just sweeps right on by back to Lewis and Clark's defensive half of the field. Crutchley has it. She's going to shoot it up the line. And Oswald gets pushed off the ball.
Wow, that was huge.
And, it's going to be a caution.
Number 10. Wow, she just really, Hannah Estrada, she just threw Thies to the ground.
That is Estrada's second yellow card on the. Yeah, that was, and you see there's a lot of chirping going on. This is getting pretty competitive right now in the box.
Oh, header just missed by Mitchell. So now we go 7 minutes, 7:04, 7:03 left in this game. And I would say is now when the Trailblazers ramp it up, but they already have been. You know what I mean? They've already put it into that next level, and the sense of urgency is getting even greater. But I don't know if they could dial it up anymore. They've been playing really, really well.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I don't know if Timmery is going to pull a defender and put another forward out there to get more of an offensive chance, but you're right. I mean, oh, a bad goal kick to to Oswald there, and it doesn't amount to much again, unfortunately. Oh.
It's going to be a free kick for Iowa Western on the far side. There was a skirmish between Lewis and Clark and Iowa, and I give you the number, but it's so far on the other side. The Iowa Western player went down, and they're going to get the ball.
Got my binoculars today.
So when you say that, when you bring in a defenseman or a midfielder, or you would switch that with a forward, is that what you would usually do in that situation?
I would personally. You know, you're already down 1-0.
It's not like hockey where you're going to pull the goaltender or anything.
Right.
You're just going to pull the defenseman and put in a forward instead.
Yeah, exactly. I think that one might be the way to go here with just 6 minutes remaining in this district final at Timmery Stadium as Iowa Western has the ball going up the field. Now Botha again, as she tries to find the right winger, and it slips right out of bounds for an Iowa Western throw.
Yeah, Paige Bowers one who
Knocked it out
cleared
of
that out.
bounds.
Yeah. Number 9 for Lewis and Clark. 5:34, Lewis and Clark trails by a score of 1-0 to Iowa Western. The winner of this game goes on to nationals in Daytona Beach, Florida.
Lewis and Clark, Lauren Kirby won the ball back, plays Chrissy Mitchell, bumped off the ball there, and it's just been like it's been all second half, a lot of back and forth from both teams, and a great tackle from Chrissy Mitchell, but a player's down.
He's staying down, but the officials aren't calling anything.
No, they are not. And the players are not happy about this at all. The referee stops the clock, 4:59 remaining in the half, as we take a little bit of a pause for a player down.
We'll take a quick break and gather our thoughts because it's quick moving, and we'll be back in just a moment. You're listening to Lewis and Clark Trailblazers Soccer on 89.9.
Returning back to Timmery Stadium to finish up the district final between Lewis and Clark Community College and Iowa Western, as we had an injury timeout. Player is up and the game is resumed with the ball in Lewis and Clark's defensive third with Paula Botha. She plays the ball to the corner and offsides is called. Lewis and Clark will have it with less than 4 minutes and 30 seconds left in this half.
Yeah, Lewis and Clark has to really put something together here. They're running out of time. They've played a fantastic game, but they're just trailing in this game 1-0, and hopefully in these last 4 minutes we can see something bounce Lewis and Clark's way.
You'd hope. I mean, the way that they've been playing, they've really worked hard for that opportunity, and you see a lot of bodies flying at the ball right now. It's going to be a pretty intense 4 minutes of college soccer here as Chrissy Mitchell wins the ball for Lewis and Clark and deflects it right back to Iowa Western.
So will Iowa Western now not play as much control and just try to start kicking balls away? And I mean, they'll take control when they want to, I guess, but now it's just trying to kill some time, right?
I wouldn't be surprised if they try to play the ball in the corner of the field and let somebody just hold it until time runs out or get a foul called. That's pretty typical in these type of environments here. As Lewis and Clark will take the throw-in down at their own half. Oh. I don't know what.
They want him to redo that or something for some reason.
Yeah, the referee's really taking control of this game right now and not letting really anything slide. And you can't blame him. A lot of fouls are starting to happen, and you don't want anyone to get really hurt. A Sinai through ball goes right to Allie Julia. She punts the ball immediately up the field as Lewis and Clark tries to get the goal back. Ball finds Thies.
Steve tried to get around a defender, but the ball was stolen away.
ball on the Lewis and Clark defensive line, and as you can tell, Lewis and Clark's trying to put everything they can forward. 3 minutes left in the half. A Lewis and Clark throw-in.
You might hear the crowd behind us yelling time because not a lot of quickness in going to the ball that went out of bounds.
Nope, another Lewis and Clark throw-in. The intensity level's got to be there, and they're going quick. Ball gets through. Lewis and Clark moving the ball, switching the field right now. Carolyn Smith playing it into Oswalt again. And Iowa Western will clear it, and they're going to move up the field. Number 11 right now, Maria Quintel has the ball, and she's going to play Botha. Botha has it at the corner of the 18. She takes a shot and puts it in. Iowa Western up 2-0 from a great shot from Paula Botha.
Oh, man, there's really nothing Chile could have done there. That shot was beautiful. It was to the far corner, and now we know why we've heard so much about Botha, and we read so much. What an incredible shot. She did a nice little move around the defender, put a leg on it to the far corner, and now it's 2-0. And now it's not.
The sun is setting.
Yes, definitely.
But if I'm Lewis and Clark, you can't be disgruntled about this game, and obviously not in a biased way. But they really were in the first half the better of two teams. Second half, I think, could go to Iowa. But Lewis and Clark worked so hard this game. They put so much pressure on ranked 4 Iowa Western, and they still are. They're still putting the fight to them and hoping for something to happen. Doesn't look likely with 2 minutes left in the district final.
And you know, it's not that the defenders looked like they were slow or anything there. It's just when you put on so much pressure, you've got to be winded. You know, when you have to play that aggression against this team, and then when the ball finds the foot of Botha, and she only has one defender on her.
Yep, and as Botha has the ball again for another shot and a save.
Oh, wow.
Great save.
Another great shot by Botha, but Chile was on that one and knocked that one away.
Yeah, and you can see it right now. We talked earlier, Mike, with the way they were playing with the high press. People would get tired, and unfortunately it has happened here. 1:30 left in this district final, and it looks like this possibly will be Tim Rooney's last game at the helm.
But you know what? What an amazing career, Hall of Fame career, some national titles to his name, and he, you know, the first thing when I talked, when Iowa Western showed up and I talked to their head coach, first thing that came out of his mouth is, you don't take a team that's coached by Tim Rooney lately. He's a legend.
He is, and as Lewis and Clark moves up the field with just a minute left in this district final, it looks like Iowa Western will go on to Daytona Beach for the national title tournament. And it's going to be a throw-in for Iowa Western on the sideline here. Pelletier taking the throw-in.
Now, tell me, in college, do they do extra time like they do in pros? I mean, will there be a signal of whether there'll be extra time or not?
Not in this case, unfortunately. They do stop the clock, so they don't add on time. They just stop it when they feel necessary. So we do have exactly 25 seconds left in the game, and a great game from Lewis and Clark. They fought hard against a ranked 4 team. They played very well. We have a player down that looks like Hollinshead is down after a beaming goal kick. The referee's going to, with such little time left in the game, they're going to let it play out here as Iowa Western will go on to the national title after a shot goes straight tomorrow, and Iowa Western is going to the national title picture. What a great game from Lewis and Clark, and a great career from Tim Rooney.
We'll be back to summarize this game in just a moment. Lewis and Clark loses 2-0. Stay with us. We'll be right back.